just they're not going to reference the previous Marvel Netflix TV shows. Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving on, and we're going to start talking about TV shows. So one of my favorite TV shows that's been released, it was literally released a couple of days ago, is a French TV show called Lupin. So that stars Omar Sy as Hassan. So basically, the premise of the show is that Hassan's father was. So I was, just want to get the right names. Yeah. So Hassan's father was framed for a robbery that he did not commit, and then he ended up taking his own life in prison. And Hassan has spent before his father died, he gave him a book called Arsène Lupin, the Gentleman Burglar, which is a very famous French book. A bit like I do kind of say it's kind of a mixture of Sherlock Holmes and Robin Hood. It's a really, really good book. If you could pick it up, it's a classic in France. And there are lots and lots of books in the series. And basically, he takes on the idea of Arsène Lupin and kind of becomes a modern day version of that kind of gentleman burglar, the thief, and he pulls off a lot of heists in the show, and the heists are great. I think they're better, some of the best heists I've seen. Now, some of them, there are some plot holes, and you think, well, that might not work, but you kind of got to go with it. And anyway, it's been really, really popular, this show. So not just in France. So it's been a number one in, the Netflix top 10 in France ever since it was released, but it's also been in the top 10 in America. It's been in the top 10 now. I just want to see. So it's all over Europe. It's been number one in places like Brazil, Vietnam, Argentina, Germany, Italy, Spain, Poland, the Netherlands, the Philippines, Sweden, and just so many other countries. And it's in the top 10, as I said, in the US. So it's really, really taken the world by storm. So Netflix is very good at producing these sorts of international TV shows that do well, not just in the countries they're from, like in Lupin's case, France, or Money Heist case, Spain, but they do really well all over the world. Now, it seems as though most of those shows that do well tend to be heist TV shows, so like Money Heist and Lupin are kind of in that bracket. But they revealed that Lupin Season 2, or Part 2, so the next 5 episodes, they're going to be released later this year. So this is actually, I was in contact with someone at Netflix in France, and they said that, yes, this is happening. And it was also revealed by, I think it was Games Radar, that this is happening as well. So they weren't able to give me an official date, but it seems as though it'll be coming in the summer time, so the middle of the year, not the end of the year. I've actually heard that they've already shot these 5 episodes, that they're already ready to go. They're just editing them. So basically, the way they've released it was initially going to be a 10 episode season, and they ended up splitting it into 2 parts, which they're doing a lot now. So 2 parts, 5 episodes each, and that the later 5 episodes have already been shot. That's what I'm being led to believe. Now, I don't know if that's actually the case, if they have to shoot them, but then we're currently in lockdown here in France, so it's going to be really difficult to shoot those scenes. I think Omar Sy actually as well has been kind of saying that there's more to come, and they shot more. So it looks like they've shot the subsequent 5 episodes. So those episodes will then be released later on in the year, because they want to keep this thing going. It's only 5 episodes long, so it really does end on a cliffhanger as well. If you've watched the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I just love this show. It's now, it's basically Netflix's second biggest hit ever. So it's, this year it's just been hit after hit after hit with Netflix. So it started off with The Queen's Gambit, which ended up with 62 million households watching it in the first 28 days, which is how they kind of do these things. Then again, a watch for Netflix, I believe, only consists of 2 minutes. So if you've watched something for 2 minutes, they consider that as a watch, as a view, which is a bit of a fudge as far as I'm concerned. But that's how they do things. Then Bridgerton came in at 63 million, so that overtook The Queen's Gambit. And now it looks like Lupin's on course to be watched by over 70 million households in its first 28 days, which is ludicrous. That's just behind The Witcher. I think The Witcher was at 74 million. So it basically means that Lupin's leapfrogged everything and is now like one of the biggest Netflix. This is the original shows, so not, they reveal these these numbers for original shows, not other shows. So I'm pretty sure other shows on the streaming service will be watched more. Incidentally, I think they've lost over 1 billion minutes of content now recently, after there was a whole, I think The Office, the US version of The Office was taken off. So Netflix is in a weird place at the moment. So they actually really need more shows like this. What's been good about the programming on Netflix is that their original content's been doing well. And they've really been boasting about that. They've been saying, we got this. Also, I think they've now gone over 200 million subscribers, which is good for them. But the problem they seem to be having is that they don't want to be releasing licensing content as much. They want to be more like Disney Plus in the sense of having as much original content as they can have, because in the long run, that's actually cheaper. Because Netflix spends most of its money licensing things. So everywhere in Europe, I think Friends is on Netflix, which is a huge drain financially, because it's a lot of money for them to license that show. It's the same with the movies and other TV shows like The Office. One of the reasons why they stopped, they aren't showing The Office anymore on Netflix is because it was just too expensive. It was too expensive for them to have that show on. But the problem is that most of the content viewed on Netflix aren't the originals. It's actually the other stuff, the stuff that they do license. So they're looking to make more shows like Lupin, like Bridgerton, like The Queen's Gambit, that really get people talking, and they really do push them hard on the streaming service, which is normal. It's they're their original. It's the original content, but they're also starting to make more movies as well. There was that whole preview they did of all the films that are coming out on Netflix in 2021. I think it's one film every week. One new film every week in 2021, which is massive. That's a lot of movie to watch. They won't all be winners, but there are some on that list that are really, really good. Of course, I think one of the biggest ones to come out this year will be Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is coming out, I think, middle of the year. Maybe more towards the end, towards the onset of winter. So yeah, Netflix, all this to say is that Lupin is doing really well for Netflix. Season 2 is coming. It will be released in 2021, maybe summertime 2021, and it's the second most watched Netflix original TV show. So it's done really well. It's great for French programming, because I revealed to you guys yesterday that La Révolution Season 2 isn't happening. It's been cancelled. Which is a shame, because I think that's actually quite a decent show as well. But at least Lupin's done well. Right, moving on.